Hi, my name is Bonnie Eggington. I'm the Marketing Director with Ranger Industries, and today we're going to do some fun, simple, easy techniques with Perfect Pearls. Perfect Pearls are pigment powders made up of fine granules of mica with a built-in resin and a built-in binder, so you don't need to mix any other product with it to get it to work on paper surfaces or other surfaces. It's all there for you. Works wet or dry. They're sold in sets of 4 colors with a detail brush and a dusting brush and a small perfect medium pad, or you can buy them open stock in individual pots and a larger perfect medium pad. So why don't we get started? Okay, to start we're going to talk about what supplies we'll be using today, and of course we're going to use our Perfect Pearls, and again here's the kit that we have, but I'm going to be using a number of colors. There are 24 colors in all, but I'm going to be using about a dozen different colors today as we play. We're going to be working with the specific brushes for the Perfect Pearls kit, the large dusting brush and the individual detail brush, the perfect medium pad, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more in a couple seconds, and you'll need a couple of stamps. Rubber stamps work fine, or stamps that you have a cling mount system, that works fine too. Most important thing to remember to begin with Perfect Pearls for the best effects is start with black or other dark cardstock. You'll see when you use white or lighter cardstocks that you don't get as much of a pearlescent, luminescent effect. Black cardstock works best. I'm going to work with the perfect medium ink pad, which really isn't an ink at all, it's actually a medium. And I'm just going to ink up my stamp. This particular medium is very sticky, so it helps the Perfect Pearls to adhere to your cardstock or whatever surface that you're going to put them on. And I'm going to simply stamp my image, make sure I get a good crisp image down. And you can hear how sticky the ink is when it comes up because it actually makes a sound from the stickiness. Okay, now I'm ready to work with the powders themselves. And I'm going to start off with my first color, which is actually called Pearl. And you'll notice that I'm working with the individual jars. The names of the Perfect Pearls are on the bottom of the jars, so you can tell the names from that. When I open the jar before I start, it's always a good idea, especially if these have been packed away, kind of get them settled into the pot so that none of them leak out, because we don't want to waste any, and a little goes a long way. I'm going to take my detail brush, only need a little bit on the end of my paintbrush, and I'm just going to start swirling in with the Perfect Pearls on the surface. And again, you don't need a lot. Actually, the second dipping that I just did, I really have more than I need. I'm just going to go all around the area of the dandelion because I want that to be a white color. Once you have the Perfect Pearls brushed out in the color that you want, you are going to move on to your next color. So I'm going to close my little pot, and there's a trick to that. First, turn it counterclockwise till you hear it click, and then clockwise, and you get a nice tight seal. Okay, the next color I'm going to go for is Forever Green to do the stem. Just going to do this really quickly. And again, this is not an exact science. Depending upon your stamp image, you may want to do big sections of color if it's a background stamp, or if you have a specific image like this one with a flower, you may want to do real small detail work. It's really up to you and what you're trying to accomplish. You can see I'm just dipping back into each pot and going into a different color and just spreading the powder along the stamped image. Because the perfect medium ink is so sticky and wet, you have time to really work it. It doesn't dry too fast so that you can't get the Perfect Pearls on there. Perfect Pearls are great on paper, works great on other surfaces as well. I've used it on chipboard, I've used it on, you can use it with polymer clay, so many different surfaces that you can use. I'll actually show you some sample of that a little bit later. Okay, now I'm just going to kind of fill in with this really pretty smoke blue kind of color. And then once everything's all filled in, we're going to brush the excess powder away, because right now it doesn't look like much, but it will in a moment. Okay? This is when you use the larger brush to dust away the extra perfect pearls. And if you've got a lot of perfect pearls on your paper surface, you can even go a step further and use a soft cotton cloth to really have it shine through. And you'll see wherever the perfect medium was stamped, the image stays there with the pearls that you placed. Really gorgeous. Let me show you a finished card sample using that same stamp to give you an idea of the look that you can get. It really, really pops with the pearl essence on this card. Quick, simple, easy way to get a really neat card or scrapbook page. For the next technique, we're going to dust on perfect pearls and actually lift some of the perfect pearls off the surface with a rubber stamp. So I'll show you how we go about that next. You're going to take your perfect medium pad and you're going to apply the ink directly to the paper surface. This is called the direct to paper method of inking. So if you ever see that in an article or a magazine, all that means is rub the pad directly to the paper. You're going to want to cover the entire surface, and then we're going to dust on perfect pearls over top of the whole piece. You can do this any way you want. If you want to create your own little design, you could do stripes, you could do circles, patchwork, whatever you feel like doing. I'm just going to do stripes because that's quick and simple. Doesn't have to be exact. You can see it can be very, very forgiving. And I'm just going to dust on some of this wonderful turquoise, which is actually one of my favorite Perfect Pearls colors. I'm going to switch colors to a little heirloom gold. And again, I'm going to squeeze in some stripes. Perfect medium can be used for so many really cool techniques, including resist techniques. And a resist technique would be on glossy paper. You would stamp an image with the perfect medium pad and let it dry a bit, or you can hit it with a heat tool to dry it faster. And then over top you can color with dye inks, and the surface where you stamp the perfect medium will resist the dye ink. That's a really cool thing to do. Okay, now that I've got this entire sheet colored, again we're going to dust off the excess. And again, if you want to get a little bit more off, you can use a cloth. It's up to you. And then from here, we're going to take a clean stamp. Very important. It has to be a clean stamp or this technique won't work. You're going to ink it up with the perfect medium. And by stamping onto the perfect pearl surface, we're going to actually remove the perfect pearls from the image. So I can continue to do more and more flowers and get a whole effect where we could create a whole background, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So let me just show you one more real quick. Very, very important to start again with a clean stamp in between your lifting, or you won't get those perfect pearls to lift up another time if there's still perfect pearls on there from the previous stamping. So believe me, I've done it a million times, and you'll do it a few times too and realize, okay, got to clean the stamp. Okay, so you get the idea for that. That's called dusting and lifting. And just a finished sample of that would be this card here, where we did the same background and then just had a stamped image in the center that we dusted.